Hey guys, Jake here. Thank you for tuning in for the Boozatory for part 1 of 2 of our Bottom Shelf Heroes series. We had a lot of fun making this one. Just a little disclaimer, we did come to find out that apparently we had a little bit of technical difficulty with this one. Sound quality is going to be a little bit off than the usual, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Please bear with us. Shouldn't happen again, so, again, thank you, bear with us, and enjoy this episode.
Hey everyone, it's PJ.
And Jake.
This podcast is about alcohol.
And the consumption of alcohol.
Therefore, this show is not recommended for anyone under the legal drinking age.
We also encourage our listeners to always drink responsibly.
And never get behind the wheel of a vehicle while intoxicated.
And now, on to the show.
Welcome to the Boozatory. Class is now in session.
We are back again. Sorry about it. We're doing it here. It's the Boozatory. Hi, I'm Jake Brunig. I have to do a take 2 again. It's one of those days.
It's been one of those days all week for all of us.
Yes.
You guys should talk about the weather again.
Yeah, no, it's Chicago can't decide what temperature it wants to be.
It went from 85 to 30 in 48 hours, so that was a whole lot of fun.
We're having a real Katy Perry song climate going on.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. I don't want to pay royalties on that.
Nope.
Take that joke back.
But yeah, so what we're doing today is it's going to be a long one for you and I because this is a double taping day.
Yeah, we're doing 2 episodes back to back, so you'll hear this as part 1, and then we'll release part 2 a little bit later down the road.
Yes.
But yeah, this is our bottom shelf heroes. It's this is the episode for those of us who don't want to spend a ton of money on alcohol but still want to get a quality product. So we've kind of put some thought into what is the highest quality you can get for the least cost. So what's your best value, your value buy on this? And I was kind of thrown into a situation a few years back working for a bar program where the owner didn't let us buy cases of alcohol, which for anyone who doesn't work in the bar industry, you always want to buy the case, or almost always, because you're going to get a lot of stuff free when you buy the case, which just increases your profit margin, and your liquor's not going to go bad sitting on the shelf or in the closet or in your storage room, wherever that is. So you want to buy the case and just use that case across the next month, 2 months, whatever it is. And we had to buy individual bottles every week, which ends up costing you way more across a year. So to make sure we still met our profit margins, we could still get paid, we would make sure we were buying, the best value. What could we pick up that, you could pour as your well whiskey, your well vodkas, whatever you were pouring, and no one would be off put by the quality of it. So we got pretty good at picking some of the cheapest stuff on the market that still actually tastes pretty good.
And I think we did a good job today, but obviously we have guests with us, and when I think of low-end hooch, I can think of nobody better than my guest, Brandon Andreasen.
Hey guys!
What you up to, buddy?
Man, okay, so I'm hung the fuck over. I was at a wedding last night. I tried to tip the bartender enough money to just give me an entire bottle of Moscato at one point.
Oh,
I don't know if you ever fucking had that kind of swagger. Go just wandering to bar with a $5 bill going, I'll take all the Moscato, please. And then just having her look at you like you're from a different planet. Like,
you're a large dude. You are not the kind of person I would ever expect to walk up to me in a bar and buy a bottle of Moscato.
I got my wine experience started. I was drinking. So if we're talking low end hooch, my first real wine experience was the first time I ever threw up drunk was wine. Those jugs.
The Carlo Rossi?
Yeah. A big fucking red. And we're just like, let's crank it back and be fucking adults. Go. Meet 2 hours later, I'm painting the bathroom red.
Dude, the Romans would be very upset with you. They would laugh.
That's true.
All right, and with me today I've got Noah Roberts. So why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you do.
I'm glad to be here, guys. Thanks for having me in the Boozatory. So I'm the beverage director at Chicago Distilling Company, a little family-owned and operated distillery focusing on whiskeys and gin in the Logan Square neighborhood here in Chicago.
So I'm a big fan of Chicago Distilling's products. I carry 3 different products from them at the bars that I work at. It's a wonderful, wonderful product. It's not crazy expensive. It's made locally and it tastes phenomenal. And it mixes incredibly well. So for me, it kind of hits all the marks I'm looking for in a product for a bar.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. We've had at least one Chicago Distilling product.
We've had multiple of their products actually. The Finn's Gin. We've had the Blind Tiger Rye. Let's see, I think we had one other product. We may have had the Blind Tiger Bourbon as well at one point. But yeah, no, phenomenal products.
That Blind Tiger's good hooch.
It's good stuff, man. it's real good.
But so, speaking of bourbon and rye, we're going to start with your pick for bottom shelf hero of whiskeys.
Yeah, Zachariah Harris, man. You can get a whole lot of Zachariah Harris pretty cheap. This 750 milliliter bottle today ran us $10. It's made by the Glenmore Distillery and bottled there as well in Louisville, Kentucky. It's coming in at 80 proof, right where you want it. So it's a real nice whiskey. We use it as our well whiskey at one of the previous bars I worked with, which is where I became kind of acquainted with it. Makes great old fashions Manhattans. It has a little bit of a rye bite to it without being overpowering at all. It's a solid bourbon and pricing is super, super nice. I think you can get a handle of it for like $15-$16. Quality, quantity, does the job. So today I made us some classic whiskey sours with it. What a lot of people don't realize is a traditional whiskey sour has egg white in it. So this is egg white, lemon juice, and bourbon. Shaking that up, served real nice, and I dropped a little bit of Peychaud's in the top to give it a little nice smell to it.
Nice.
So enjoy, friends.
Let's give this cheers.
Fluffy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that I like.
Super solid, straightforward bourbon. Nothing crazy special about it. It does its job. We're not looking for like super nuanced product here in a bottom shelf hero. We're looking for something that's gonna get the job done and not upset anybody in the process. It's not a super well known name either. Even some snobs, they'll go, "Oh, I've never heard of Zachariah Harris," and they'll be like, "Oh, this is really good." Yeah, it is.
It seems like it's fairly easy to fool people when it comes to alcohol. If the nicer the label on the bottle, I think the more you can get away with.
This label reminds me very much of like Ezra Brooks, Jack Daniels. There's another one with that kind of label with an E.
Benchmark.
Evan Williams.
Benchmark has a similar one.
Yeah, Evan Williams. It's got the black.
They're all
with
doing
the
the
white.
Jack Daniels thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, it's working. It's super classic looking.
Yeah, I've got no qualms with this. I'm into it because everyone kind of thinks the square bottle with the black label, they're thinking of Jack, which is kind of everyone's idea of
whiskey. Go-to like cheap whiskey. Yeah. The big difference is this can be a bourbon where Jack Daniel's gonna be a Tennessee sour mash. So there's some differences there in the construction of them.
And people from Tennessee and fucking Kentucky will fight you if you don't know the difference.
Yeah, I think people anywhere should fight you if you don't know the difference. Like, there's a reason why they're called two different things because they're very different. I think you'd be hard pressed to try and like hide a Tennessee sour mash in a line of bourbon and someone not like instantly know there's a difference. It'd be like if you had a whole bunch of vodka in front of you and then one of them was gin. You'd instantly know something was different here.
It would still get me drunk.
Yeah, it's still alcohol. They're very similar alcohols. Even the chemical makeup is basically identical between the two. There's definitely difference in the flavor and in the smell.
So Brandon, as a man who drinks by the numbers,
quantity mostly. Yes. I've been known to have some schnapps around the holidays.
What would you say? What's kind of like your plan of attack with whiskey when you're not being a Bud Light Lime Nightmare?
Okay, I I want to say right here, I don't know how I got the reputation as the Bud White lime guy. You are not the first goddamn person to say it. I don't think I've ever drank it. I don't like the insinuation of being called that. But
I think it's just that you look like I picked you up at a Kenny Chesney concert.
Not today. He's got a nice sweater.
For the record, everyone, Jake Bruni's getting his ass kicked in the parking lot after this.
The best part
It's
is,
Zach Brown, baby, son of a bitch.
hey, the best part is he has to walk 3 blocks to get to a parking lot, so even better. It's a long walk to get your ass kicked.
I'm going to kick your ass up one side of the street and back down the other.
There we go.
No, when I've got money, which is fairly rare because, college seems like a joke to me. I'm actually drinking stuff like Zachariah Harris and whatnot, or I'll drink, benchmarking Zachariah Harris is the same thing. In my opinion, usually, well, if I'm mixing with Coke, it doesn't matter what the quality is. But if I got some money, I'm drinking mostly Woodford Reserve. And I was telling you guys before the show started, this was a couple months ago now. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. We're all hammered drunk or we're out of alcohol. And we don't know what to do. And all we have to drink is Black Cherry Faygo and Johnny Walker Blue, which I received as a birthday present. And we sat there, we looked at the two things and said, yeah, let's do that. And so we were fucking like millionaires in Wilmington, Illinois, fucking just mixing Johnny Walker Blue and Faygo together, going, yeah, this doesn't taste too bad. We're not fucking complete idiots. But yeah, for the most part, Woodford Reserve. Like if I can afford bourbon, I'm just drinking like a $35 bottle of Woodford Reserve.
Okay.
Yeah, the last bar that I saw Johnny Walker Blue on the shelf at, they were selling it for $40 an ounce. So you want to do the math on your Juggalo calculation there. How many bottles of Faygo you can buy for one shot of Johnny Blue?
Talk about magnets and Faygo and fucking Johnny Walker and shit.
Yeah.
To that I say whoop whoop.
No, what you
I'm
thoughts on
a
this,
whole
bud?
mess.
I think this is a solid bourbon, man. I think there's probably a misconception that as bartenders, because we're kind of always experiencing and are able to try some of the most expensive and kind of rare, unique products on the market, that's what we drink most often. But
Nope. There's a bottle of wild turkey in the kitchen that says otherwise.
But when you're trying to put together a cocktail list, you're trying to hit that percentage cost. I think a lot of us take a lot more pride in kind of some of the lower cost options that maintain the quality.
I'm lucky enough to work in a fairly affluent area, a pretty high income market for where my bar is at. And we have cocktails that run up to like $18 for a drink.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm lucky enough that I can kind of pick basically whatever I want to use in that. Because $18, you can play around pretty far around there to get your profit margins. But I don't like selling cocktails at that price. I try to keep it usually around 12. 12 is a pretty approachable for high end craft cocktail. We're doing some pretty crazy stuff out there. So 12 is about the cheapest I can do some of those drinks for. And I use some of the others to absorb that cost. And I think that's a really interesting point to how much of figuring out the cost behind things really decides what the ingredients are. There's been times where I was like, man, this bottle of scotch would be fantastic in this cocktail. How much is it? Oh, it's $200 a bottle. All right.
Hit me some Faygo.
All right.
Now I have a question. Let's assume that someone listening to this podcast doesn't know shit about dick. What do you mean when you say well?
So well is if you ever looked at a bar and the bartender is making cocktails and they're just reaching below them and pulling stuff out of a rail by the ice, that's their well. Well product is just typically your most grabbed product that is typically your lower end cost. So your well whiskey is going to be your cheapest whiskey in the building. What a lot of people don't realize is the business makes a ton of money off well whiskey.
Uh-huh.
We'll get those bottles for $2 a piece, and we're selling it for $5 a glass. It's nothing but liquid profit when you're buying well whiskey. We try to push you as bartenders into other stuff because it's really hard to get someone who is drinking for cost to try other things.
Yeah.
To get you to try cocktails and things like that. Because a lot of us take a lot of pride in what we do.
and we want you to kind of enjoy and experience some of the things that we've created and those other things. We just can't deliver it at $5. That's really one of the big fights in my bars for why we try and push people away from a lot of the just drinking a well spirit. I mean, I'll make you a well old fashioned all day. It's gonna be great because we choose products that cocktail well. It's definitely difficult to get people that are drinking for cost to experiment outside of that kind of idea.
So basically, you're saying that Zachariah Harris would be a solid choice for a bar as well.
Oh, absolutely. I've used it in 2 different bars for the well. Yeah, I brought a new bottle of Zachariah Harris out to the table, so...
I didn't know if it was a show bottle or not. I had to pour myself up a little bit here. Actually,
bottle for radio.
One bar I used to hang out at, I don't know how they got a deal on it, but their well whiskey for a long time was Buffalo Trace.
Oh yeah,
because they got a monster deal on it, and they bought, I think, 12 cases of it just to have.
Yeah. The bar that I was running out in Georgia, when we first opened, we had Buffalo Trace on it. Before I became the bar manager, so while I was there were a total of 3 different bar managers. The one who opened it, the one who was bar manager for the first year I was there, and then me. But the big thing was, when we first opened, we had Buffalo Trace at our well, and that's like incredible, especially in Georgia. Like that's an incredible. We were doing $5 a pour.
Ooh,
yeah,
it's not bad.
Yeah, Buffalo Trace has been around for a little bit, and it's a very solid product. So it was very interesting to see that we had that. And then I started working there, the new bar manager came in, and suddenly we were doing Jim Beam White Label, which, I mean, it's a fine product, it's cool, it's most consumed bourbon in America, but it's not Buffalo Trace. And suddenly we couldn't get that same deal anymore, and I still can't figure out what it was or how we got locked in at, that cheap price. On Buffalo Trace, and if anyone's got the hookup on that, let me know, because I would love to have that as a well again.
So, Noah, I guess as a distiller, what would you say is a product that you guys make that is kind of, I guess I would say comparable, but just kind of a great, bourbon on a budget?
By our nature, because we're such a small company, as a small craft independent distiller, all of your products kind of have to tend to fall into more of a premium, or what we call like an ultra premium price range. Mm-hmm. Just because of kind of this scale of economy, and just because our production costs are significantly higher than some of these large guys.
Which isn't to say that your products are unreasonable. I've seen them on the shelves, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a reasonable price.
Actually, almost picked up some of the product today.
Yeah.
And one thing, so when you're looking kind of at some of these more inexpensive bourbons, for people that aren't kind of in tune with sort of the liquor labeling laws, there are a couple things on this bottle, and PJ, maybe you were going to talk on this for a minute, but there are a couple things on this bottle of Zachariah Harris that are indicating to me that this is a quality product. Because a lot of what you're seeing, it is marketing, and it is just kind of words that they're using to sort of sell their product. But there are a few words on here that are legally defined.
Yeah, legally binding.
So what I'm seeing is Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. So I know that this is being made in Kentucky. The straight designation is telling me that this was aged a minimum of 2 years. Bourbon, I think you guys probably delved into this a little bit, but there are a large set of regulations kind of that govern how bourbon has to be made, and very well defined. So a lot of times when you're getting into your bottom shelf, you'll see products that are labeled as blended, and this is sort of kind of like whiskey flavored vodka, essentially.
Right.
They can blend a large amount of neutral spirits. Look for that straight bourbon whiskey, and then you know that you're guaranteed a kind of a certain level of quality.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and on top of that, I do want to make it known that I don't necessarily have a problem with blended products.
Oh.
But don't try and like fool people into what it is and what it isn't. You can make wonderful blended products, and like for instance, Jim Beam's got a new product out called Little Book, which is a fantastic blended whiskey made with, I think it's like 38-year Canadian whiskey blended with 18-year bourbon and a 13-year rye whiskey. It's real tasty, real strong. Be aware when you approach that bottle.
On the other end of the spectrum, though, is Jewel brand blended whiskey,
Right,
which costs $6, and you could fly an airplane for several miles.
Yeah.
With it, just pouring it right in the fuselage.
But no, so go for a straight Kentucky bourbon and you'll get some good quality stuff.
Yeah. I mean, not always. You can make a bad Kentucky straight bourbon, don't get me wrong. You know, like we said, legally speaking, there's some binding, quality control things there that ensure that you're not going to just get vodka.
But you can make a bad anything. Brandon makes bad jokes all the time.
I've made my bones doing that. I make bad jokes in the way you keep your virginity.
I mean, have you seen his resume? It's full of bad jokes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's pick on Brandon Day.
It's usually pick on Jake Day, so this is him kind of coming back at you.
I'm getting
a couple more of these. I'll get fucking ruthless on Jake.
Oh, it's even better. We got tequila coming up.
There's when I was first starting out in comedy, Brandon was a presence, and what we would do before mics is just have a roast circle.
Yep. Oh, those are my favorite things ever too. More so even than that. Like your clothes never quite fit quite right. You were still fucking really killing the skinny jean game, and so you just looked like an incredibly fat toddler up there.
Yeah, I think this was a solid choice for a low-end whiskey. And we're going to take a quick break, come back with our next beverage, our next spirit.
Like I said, we made cocktails with this, and we're only like $12 in.
Yes.
I mean, I used, for 4 cocktails, I used 2 eggs and like 2 ounces of lemon juice and 4 ounces of whiskey. So, I mean, realistically, our cost on this for these 4 drinks is about $2.
Yeah, so we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with the next drink, next spirit. And then we're going to have a drinking story from Brandon. Which, God can only fucking...
You don't even know the story I'm going to tell either.
Yeah, no, that's the bad part. It's like sometimes people come on here and it's like, all right, I know what story they're going to tell.
No, I got a back pocket. One I've always like, man, I bet I can make a stand-up joke out of it, and then never did. Because they're really fucking true and awful but funny story.
That's why, like, when I brought him on, he was like, what do I got to do? I was like, just play the hits.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Fucking no new shit.
Just play the first album.
Play taking care of business.
All right,
we will be
back
back
with some tequila.
Yes. All right, we're back with round 2.
Yeah.
Time to talk tequila.
Ow! A little bit of tequila.
All right, so I've brought to us a really wonderful bottle called Exotico. Kind of like what we were talking about with whiskey, there's a few things you want to see on a bottle of tequila. For me, there's only 2 kinds of tequila. A lot of people don't realize that. There's 2 kinds of tequila. It's tequila and tequila 100% de agave. So tequila 100% de agave means it's not blended. It's 100% Blue Weber agave. There's no other sugar source going into this at all. And so when you look at tequila, tequila has to be made in Mexico. We already talked about that in one of the designated areas. And then there should be something called the NOM, N-O-M, which the NOM for this is 1143, which you can see it located on the back. It has to be listed somewhere on the bottle. Otherwise, it is not tequila. Someone has lied to you and given you poison in a bottle. Don't drink it. Tequila is one of the most heavily regulated spirits in the world. The CRT handles all of that, and I'm not going to bother to pronounce the name of that because I will slaughter what that means, but it is the regulatory committee or agency of tequila. Tequila is an appellation of origin owned by Mexico. The name tequila is copywritten essentially by Mexico, and they are the ones who decide what is and is not tequila entirely. So this is a Reposado, which means it's aged less than a year, but more than a month. I don't know exactly which barrels this one is aged in, but this one's coming from Jalisco, so right kind of in the middle of where you want it to be. Great for cocktailing. I made us kind of the classic tequila cocktail, the margarita. So this was made with tequila, triple sec, lime juice, a little bit of sugar, and that's it.
Does not look like the ones you get at Senior Frogs.
Does not look like the ones you get at Senior
This
Frogs.
isn't TGI Fridays.
God, I hate their
Why'd you
blending.
explain it?
Yeah, why didn't this go through a blender? Well, because a margarita is not a frozen cocktail, guys. It's a shaken cocktail.
You're not white enough for this. We have to fucking appease the 300-pounders in St. Louis. Put it through a blender, slap some ice in there, and throw some peaches.
Yeah, dear God, man. Like, there's a lot of sugar already in this cocktail because alcohol is sugar, fruit juice is sugar, and then we add sugar to it. It's sugar 3 ways in a glass. And so people need to kind of think about that when they're drinking alcohol in their cocktails. Like, hey man, do you really need to add more sugar to this?
And for some people, the answer is yes.
And if it is, cool.
So you guys are in the industry. I gotta ask, what's your preference over clear to brown tequila?
Okay, so for tequila, there's a couple different reasons to drink different ways. The main thing is, if you want to really taste tequila and know what that spirit tastes like, you need to drink the Blanco. Because the Blanco is going to be the true expression of that agave and of the craft and how it was made. That's where you're going to get the true tequila taste. When you start drinking aged spirits, you're getting a lot more of the barrel. You're going to get kind of the aging process. That's where that flavor is going to kind of come from. So a reposado is kind of your in-between. You're still going to get some of the flavor of the tequila from the Blanco, and you're going to get some of the age from the barrel, but it's not going to be like an añejo where it's aged for at least a year, where you're going to get a lot of barrel and you're going to lose a lot of the citric content of the raw tequila.
I see what you mean by citric, because this is not what I know as far as margaritas go.
Right. I mean, it's fresh squeezed lime juice. I literally, 15 minutes before the podcast, cut them up and squeezed them. So this is as fresh of a margarita as you're pretty much going to get. And this is made to, kind of classic ratios, and just kind of sticking to everything traditional here. It's a super, super traditional margarita.
And what's the go-to margarita spot back in our neck of the woods?
Oh man, okay. I'm blanking on the name, but it's written down. It's in Joliet on Route 52, and it's notable because on Tuesdays and Thursdays it's half-price margaritas, and they sell the margaritas by the fishbowl.
Is it Senor Tequila?
That might be correct. It might be Senor Tequila. See, and so they serve. You have to hit 2 fists of the tequila like this, like I am God, and like you're like no with the 10 Commandments, just but it's Cuervo and like raspberry mixins.
So speaking of Cuervo, Cuervo is one of the 3 original first tequilas produced and certified by the CRT. It's Cuervo, Salsa, and Herradura are the 3 that are still around. So 3 of the oldest tequilas still manufactured, those 3. And of the 3, Cuervo is my least favorite, but they've got some stuff that's pretty nice. I talk about Cuervo the same way I talk about Jack Daniels. I don't like baseline Cuervo, I don't like baseline Jack Daniels, but their higher end stuff is really, really good. If you haven't gotten a chance to sit down and have the Sinatra Select Jack Daniels, it's real nice.
Warms my heart. I mean, we were at a duck conservation. I'm going to call it that, duck conservation, because it's better than saying hillbillies raffling off guns.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've been there. Pheasants forever.
Yeah, and one of the auction items was a hand-numbered, early off the production line bottle of Sinatra, the Jack Sinatra. And my buddy spent $650 on it.
Okay.
It didn't make it home.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful in the moment. Like, literally, he bought it, and he walked up with it, and he just handed them their credit card, and once they wrote down, he grabbed it up and cracked it right then and there, and just took a big swig and goes, oh, this is good, guys. And I had oh, this is fucking fantastic. Like, we shouldn't be doing this. Like, this is not the way to be drinking this. And my buddy goes, I paid for it, you're drinking it. Like, you're right.
Dude, it's crazy that someone paid that amount for it, because I know exactly how much.
It's not that expensive.
I can totally get a bottle for $55.
Yeah, it was just the mystique of it. It was like one of the first off the line.
Oh, right,
so,
yeah. No, it was a very select edition.
Yeah.
And it may have even been for one of the anniversaries. I think they just did the 25th anniversary of it, or maybe the 50th. I don't remember.
So now, did your company make it would be called an agave being made in Chicago?
Right. It would be an agave spirit, yeah. We have not done anything kind of on the agave end.
I believe one of the few that's making it is actually
Tailwinds Distillery out in Plainfield.
In my backyard, literally, not even figuratively.
Toby Bell, we had him on here for the rum episode, man. He's making agaves here in Illinois.
I can tell you Tailwinds is one of the few places I've drank at before. I've eaten breakfast before.
Yeah.
Me too.
So, Noah, since you guys do not make an agave product, what would you like your tequila agave experience? What's kind of your go-tos?
You know, tequila is actually a really fun mixer in a lot of ways that people might not think about it. And since we're talking like bottom shelf heroes, you know, this is probably not something you're going to savor neat or on a couple of cubes. You're probably going to be mixing this. So, you know, I think everyone thinks lime juice, definitely. Orange juice, maybe. Kind of bright citrus
How
flavors.
about a little Demerara and bitters?
Oh, yeah, man. Tequila old fashioned. Tequila mixes really well with coffee.
Yes.
Hot chocolate. Great way to spice.
Oh,
Never tried that. Ooh.
Actually, I got one that I'll throw out there. I haven't put it on a menu yet, so if you steal it before me, I know where you got it from. And I will take your kneecaps. I'm not giving them back.
He sends me.
But so you can take some red wine and melt some chocolate into that, and then mix that with tequila.
Can I offer a counter to that? I live at a bar that has a thing called a Chicago boxcar. You know what, like an Irish car bomb when you drop the pint or the shot into Guinness? It's like that. Only instead of Guinness, it's night train wine, and instead of Jameson, it's Malort. So you're literally dropping a shot of Malort into a half pint of night train wine. Go on.
Have you ever licked the upper tank of a toilet, like the back tank of it?
I pissed in an outhouse last night.
I have a feeling that if I just lick the inside of that, it tastes similar.
You get probably the same profile out of that.
Minerality. There's a great minerality to this.
I feel a certain amount of pride, but a lot of shame in the fact that I was the one they tested it on to determine whether they're going to put it on the menu, and I go for it!
But that's crazy. I would have never thought hot chocolate. We made abuelita on Friday.
Yeah.
We should have thought.
We didn't have any tequila.
That does
No, this
sound
bottle was in the house when we made it. I should have just dumped half the bottle into it.
Whoops. Because tequila is, you've talked, it's like people, when they have bad experiences with tequila, your go-to response is, well, you didn't have good tequila.
Right, absolutely. Every time someone's like, yeah, I don't drink tequila anymore, it makes me a bad person, or I do bad things on tequila, it's like, no, you're using tequila as an excuse to do bad things. Don't blame the tequila.
Yeah, thanks, Brett Kavanaugh.
But no, like, you said that, like their worst, people will say their worst hangovers are from tequila.
Yeah, and that's entirely, so hangovers come from a few sources. One is consuming impurities in the spirit that you're drinking, so the kind of lower the quality of the spirit you drink, the more impurities, the more imperfections are going to be in there, and those are going to be what sticks with you and make you feel like crap in the morning.
That's like harm kills me.
Yeah, and then there's dehydration, which is, alcohol will dehydrate you. It's going to. It's going to force the water out of your body. So you need to consume water while you're drinking. Be responsible. And eat something, guys. Man, come on. Don't be a rookie. Don't be out there making your drinking look like amateur hour.
You're embarrassing the pros like me.
So then, a follow-up question, and you or Noah can answer this. Are there indicators that something low budget is going to be good quality, or is it very trial and error?
I don't know. I think that part of the point of this episode is kind of shed some light on this fact. Another factor, like BJ was talking about, leading to hangovers, sugar content is a huge thing. So that's why I see kind of a lot of bartenders when they're off their shift kind of sticking to maybe a little neat pour of whiskey and a cheap American lager.
Yeah.
Because
keep your sugar content down.
Pretty seasoned on this, keeping the sugar down. Now, I definitely enjoy a cocktail, but probably one or two for me. And then if I'm continuing on, switching it up to something straight that's going to get the job done, or just something easy going.
So then I guess what I'm saying is, because when we were talking about the Zachariah Harris, you mentioned some things on the labeling that would kind of point to it being a certain quality of product.
Oh yeah. So just to reiterate exactly what PJ said earlier, the 100% agave is a huge signifier. Looking for that non-number that is signifying that this did come from a distillery in Mexico in the region that's licensed to make tequila.
Yeah, I don't know of anyone currently that is making something and calling it tequila without the CRT's approval. They're pretty aggressive about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Tailwinds, when they were making agave, they never labeled it tequila. Right. They still received a letter from the CRT letting them know, we appreciate you're calling it agave, but just so you know, if you ever call it tequila, we will come after you.
We will break your kneecaps.
Yeah.
So basically what you guys are saying is that when you're looking to stock yourself on a budget, there are some indicators that you can see just right on the bottle.
There's always things to look for, because what you have to realize is wording on a bottle, these labels are required to have certain things on them to be a distilled spirit in America. One thing is that tequila in America has to be 40% alcohol. In Mexico, it's 38 usually is the kind of the sweet spot number.
Damn metric system.
Now, does that have to be 40 or more, or 40 on the dot?
40 minimum to be a spirit in America.
Okay.
Anything below that is considered liqueur, and that's just because Americans are obsessed with specific labels to things.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the world doesn't kind of follow that, but at least in America, you want to look at 40% alcohol content, which is 80 proof minimum. Anything below that's going to be a liqueur, and typically is going to have a higher sugar content because they have to make up for that somehow. You want to look for any specific numbers on the bottle. Numbers are important because numbers are legally binding. It has to be whatever that number says it is. There's this thing with Tito's that I like to kind of point out, is that on the paper collars for a while, it used to say, or bottled, distilled, Austin, Texas, I think is what it said. The legally binding word that was missing is in.
Ah.
Exactly.
By the way, white women in Naperville love Tito's.
Oh God, I'm working so hard to get them away from Tito's.
White women everywhere, brother.
Yeah, but man,
I actually want to throw a big shout out to
where all my white bitches at?
To the people over at Sneaky Fox here in Chicago for making 100% organic, gluten-free corn whiskey or corn vodka made in Chicago that's just honest about what it is, and pushing it out there so that I have an alternative to Tito's. Every single time someone sits down at my bar and they order Tito's, I say, all right, hang on. I do have Tito's, but I'd like to introduce you to something else. You open to trying it. And I give them a little taste of Tito's first, and they go, oh, that's awful. And I was like, yeah, that's Tito's.
I got to ask you, though, because you brought up at that point, corn vodka, what's the difference between corn vodka and, at that point, moonshine?
Well, corn vodka, they pay taxes on. The defining factor of moonshine is that it was made without a license and without taxation.
So is it, like the stuff you're finding to see at Binny's, like all that stuff that says
That's
moonshine?
unaged whiskey.
Gotcha. All right. There you go.
It's like moonshine in quotation
because
marks.
I've had real my uncle.
Believe me, we've all had some real moonshine.
Yeah. They used to make it pure out of, and they used to use DuPage River water to make it real authentic, right? But they kept it north of the waste containment plant, so it was decent.
I was about to say the official Chicago car bomb is shot of Malort and then water out of the DuPage River in an old style.
That's fantastic. Yeah. But he showed up with just a mason jar and goes, yeah, we made it ourselves. And this was, by the way, Thanksgiving.
That's the best time. You show up with some apple hooch at Thanksgiving.
My mom goes, you're not drinking that, are you? I go, I mean, he hadn't gone blind yet. He's obviously tried it.
So let's actually talk about that. The going blind thing. That is a very important thing to distillers, because that's something that will actually happen to you when alcohol is made improperly. You don't have enough ethanol content, and that creates methanol. Methanol is what makes you go blind. You know what the cure for it is? Ethanol, the chemical in alcohol that gets you drunk. Drink good alcohol, and suddenly you're not blind anymore.
There you go, people. We're learning stuff here. I'm doing Jake's job on that thing.
He's over there trying not to get too drunk.
I will say this though, and I have no fucking physical proof of this, but Tequila, if you're like me and you want to lose weight, but you're not ready to make a big Facebook post about how you're going clean, Tequila's a great way to do it. I lost 30 pounds I gained most of it back. Yeah. But when I went strictly to a tequila, club soda, and lime diet for a long time, and over the course of 6 weeks, I lost nearly 30 pounds.
I actually did the same thing. I've got a buddy. His older brother was Mr. Arkansas a couple years in a row. He's an all-natural bodybuilder, so he doesn't use pre-workout because pre-workout contains a lot of chemicals like caffeine. And what he said is before he would go to the gym, he'd take a shot of tequila. After speaking to some of his dietitian friends, they said the reason why you should drink tequila as a dietary measure, if you're going to drink, tequila is one of the better options because the sugar source is agave. And 9 out of 10 dietitians all recommend agave to be your premium kind of sugar source because your body digests it very easily. It doesn't take much for your body to break down agave because it's such a clean source of sugar.
There you go. So that's fantastic. We're learning something. We're moving the dial.
I lost about 25 pounds drinking. I swapped from whiskey to tequila. I was drinking whiskey old fashions every night after I'd closed my bar. And then I had a tequila rep who stopped by with Fortaleza Añejo and introduced me to the Añejo Old Fashioned.
I've had,
and I drank the rest of that bottle because I was in Rome, Georgia, and no one was drinking high-end tequila. It's like, all right, well, I get half off.
Now we did get while tequila is a great thing to drink while you're trying to lose weight. We did get debunked on it being a stimulant.
Correct. At the time that we did that episode, the jury was kind of out on whether or not you could call tequila a stimulant because of its agave content. While agave itself is a stimulant because tequila contains ethanol, which is the chemical in alcohol that gets you drunk, it is classified as a depressant. However, there are people who still make the argument that it has stimulant-like qualities.
Because it's like closeness to sugar.
Right, exactly. I mean, alcohol is sugar.
Yeah.
But ethanol is a chemical that gets you drunk, which is a form of depression. So it is a depressant.
Unless I'm doing it, because I'm always having a good time. I'm drunk.
Yeah. And they all make me piss in alleyways. It's fine.
I thought that was Irish whiskey, Jake.
That one especially, but that I think is just part of my heritage.
Also, it's just real hard to find parking around here.
Can I tell a good Jake story real quick?
Oh boy.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Jake knows when Jake got into comedy, I was running really well in comedy. I was doing it quite a bit. I was around all the time, and I started to fade out a little bit. I had some personal issues, some demons that I had to exercise for myself to get better, and I had to leave comedy for. But I had not a good reputation, but I had a reputation that I still got booked based on it. So one night I got booked on a show with Jake, and we're in downtown Joliet. And Jake walks up to me like he's fucking just the king of the mountain. He chest puffed out. And he goes, "Brandon, I'm so glad you're here. I lost my virginity." I'm like, "Yeah?" To Tim? And I go, because he was living within the
Tim is our other roommate.
The League of Extraordinary Virgins over at in Joliet.
Him and Cameron and Tim.
And no, but it was an actual an adult woman, and it was consenting, and I was so proud of him. And then I just
Jake also consented?
Yeah.
Oh.
I assumed because he was pretty happy about it. And I was very proud of him. And then I spent 10 straight minutes just making fun of him relentlessly over it.
Oh, absolutely. I give him shit all the time.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
He's a bigger comic than I'll ever be at this point. So I have to shit on him to make myself feel better. Back in the day, I was shitting on him because he was fucking new and it was fucking fun. Now it's to make myself feel better.
Yeah, now you're like, God damn it, he's playing the Laugh Factory again.
Right, exactly, yeah. Oh, I keep seeing Brunig on these bigger set lists. I'm like, oh, fuck this noise, I'm done. Brunig's trying out for CYSK, and I'm sitting here hoping that fucking someone in Kankakee calls me.
Yeah. All right, so you want to go ahead and let people know what CYSK is for the people outside of
Oh, yeah, for the people that don't know dick about shit, or whatever you said, shit about dick. CYSK is Comedians You Should Know. It's hands...
Nationally recognized.
Nationally recognized. It's one of the most important comedy shows in Chicago, and the people that come from it are the people that become writers on Saturday Night Live. Get on Saturday Night Live. They go to LA. They get their own Comedy Central special. They get their Netflix specials. Every big comic, I think Kumail Nanjiani at one point was on there. big deal now. Are you pointing at my hands?
Yeah, you keep slapping the table. You
My bad, guys. There's every great comic that's come out of Chicago has done at least a fucking minute, SUISK. And so I referenced that they're looking for a new cast member, and they were posting every week who was auditioning. And so me and another comedian friend, I'm not going to say her name to protect her on this one, we would sit there and just be super catty about it. Like, fuck that, they suck, stupid, Cam Little's cool, sucks.
I need to go on record and say, because she probably listens to this show.
and on behalf of the entire comedy community, Jake's family, who assumed he was gay for many years, and everybody in Jake's social circle, we all thank you. We owe you a debt.
Yeah, someone had to take one for the team.
Yeah, you are truly doing the Lord's work.
Just ruthless, man.
You look past the skinny jeans and the ska band T-shirt if you were inside.
Hey, it wasn't just a ska band T-shirt. He was living that life.
Yeah.
he might have actually still been in the ska band at that point.
He was a member of Sellout, the Chicago suburbs' second biggest Real Big Fish tribute band.
I do have to say, I was wearing a mustard plug T-shirt.
When you came, you screamed, "We're gonna take on the world."
Oh my
Yes!
God.
Let's make mustard plug references.
So I do have a question for the comics at the table.
Yeah.
As a bartender, we're focused on the hospitality aspect of kind of meeting folks where they're at, figuring out how we can deliver the best experience to them. As Midwestern comics, I would assume you guys come up a lot against people who are not receptive necessarily.
They're my favorite crowds.
So when you finish one of these sets, you're just like, fuck, man, did not get through to any of these folks, did not, the reception was not great. What is, since we're talking about the bottom shelf heroes, what's the most effective way to sort of drown that sorrow?
I talk fast enough that it's not an issue. Nobody can get a word in edgewise on me during the set.
So what do you drink after you
bomb?
bomb?
What am I drinking?
Yeah, what do you drink after you bomb?
Oh, everything.
Well, I should say the last time I performed with Brandon, he started the night by eating a bacon-wrapped hot dog.
That's true.
Solid choices.
Jake will back me up on this. I used to start every set by chugging a beer on stage.
The tall boy.
People fucking said it was a crutch, so I got rid of it because I'm a fucking huge shank and I just listen to what everyone says. If I've had a bad set, the easiest way to drown is to just fucking double fist some tall boys for me. And I'm not going to be one of those guys.
And also drink alcohol.
That fucking yeah.
My
Bush Light, Schlitz, stuff like that. I'll drown myself in that, and I've done it many times.
So I also want to ask, what is with the almost like rabid defense? Like everyone's got their kind of shitty American macro lager, your High Lifes, your PBRs, which are, presumably very much the same.
Utility.
Yeah, why? So why the Bush Light jokes, the Coors Light jokes, but High Life is cool. High Life is,
That's where we're at. High Life is like the Chicago King of Beers.
Every one of those low-end beers has their moment, though. Like, Schlitz is going to have its moment at some point. Like, PBR had its moment.
I think
Old Style had its moment.
I think we're actually in the moment of Schlitz.
Yeah,
right now.
like, every one of those low-end
PBR's falling off.
Every one of those and by the way, they're all owned by Pabst. Pabst owns fucking all of them. They own Colt 45, for Christ's sake. But every one of those cheap beers
too.
Yeah, trust me, I drink it. They hit like every one of those cheap beers at some point. It's an inflection point. Like they all get on the come up and just fucking die.
I just know that in a perfect, beautiful world, Anheuser-Busch lifts their bar on Yingling in Illinois.
Dude. That's
what a world.
Can I make an unpopular opinion?
Go for it.
Yingling's overrated.
Fuck off.
Okay. Wait. Hang on. So I'm from Georgia, where it's illegal for Anheuser-Busch to prevent you from purchasing Yingling. It's $1 in a tall boy can. A tall boy for $1 of Yingling is a solid investment. It's a solid.
$1 for anything doesn't turn you blind. It's a solid investment.
But here's the thing though, like Yingling is among the domestics. It's on the higher end of them, quality wise, which is I think why Anheuser-Busch works so hard to keep them out of the market. But Yingling it's a solid beer. And they offer styles that, some of these other companies don't. It's not just a Pilsner or a lager. Like, they have some other styles that are also really solid and super affordable. If I had to pick, like, my two choices for domestic, it's going to be, if I have to pick a light beer, which you'll almost never see me drink unless that's the only option. If they fail the daiquiri test and all they've got is domestic light beers, I'm going with Miller Lite or Yingling. Like, those are really solid choices for me.
Personally, I'm just on the. I look at people who defend, like really vociferously fucking defend Yingling, and like they'll travel to Indiana to buy it.
Yeah, that's nuts to me. No, I'm not driving that far.
I look at Yingling defenders the same way that like probably most people like look at Mowort defenders like myself.
Yeah.
It's the same battle. It's a regionalized thing. Not everybody knows about it, but there's some kind of mystique. There's a certain mystique about it. Like Yingling's the oldest brewery in America. Malort can literally make you want to fight your dad.
It's coming back to Chicago.
Yeah, coming back.
Thanks, CH Distilleries. Dude, I'm surprised Chicago Distilling didn't make that move first.
I think the CH might have a little more capital than we have.
They've been cranking some product out like crazy. Man.
I'm gonna give my answer to Noah's question, and then we'll get a drunk story from Brandon, and we'll wrap this one up.
CH still hasn't tried to come into my bar yet. I think they see too much Chicago Distilling on the shelf and they get scared.
Brewery fight.
My problem is I drown bombs with the same way I reward good sets.
Oh.
It's like rewarding a dog for peeing on the floor.
It's Bullet, and then Popeyes on the way home.
Dude, all I'm saying is I've seen a lot of Popeyes in that fridge lately. There's a whole big batch of Popeyes mac and cheese in there right now.
And for all you know, I'm on a roll, baby.
Meanwhile, Chicago Comedy's like, we're sending him back down to the minor leagues in the suburbs. We called him up from AAA way too early. We're sending him back down to fucking
He needs another spring training.
And so we'll wrap this up as we always do with a favorite drinking story from our comedian guest. And God fucking forbid whatever your story could be.
I like to call this story Whiskey White Privilege.
Oh, God.
This was several years ago now, before I met my wife and got domesticated slightly. We were drinking, man, we were just piling. I forget, I think it was probably Jim Beam at that point, because we showed brand loyalty back then, because we didn't all have mortgages. So we're just pounding back Jim Beam after Jim Beam, and we had
Jim Beam Black just won International Wine and Spirits Competition, Best American Whiskey.
I said before, it's my go-to everywhere.
It's efficient. It's an efficient.
The Jim Beam Black is just aged for like another 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
It's my well whiskey right now because I'm in an area where.
And Mila Kunis drinks it apparently.
Yeah.
Or at least she's paid to think you can drink it.
No, she does. She's actually for real. She's a big Jim Beam fan. Like honestly.
Isn't she a part owner?
She has stock in the company.
So I was just obliterated drunk. And I think there were 5 of us. It was myself, my brother, my buddy, who I'm going to keep nameless for several reasons.
Yeah.
And 2 girls.
Violation of parole.
2 girls. One girl who I knew, and side story, I'm sorry, my wife, if you're listening to this, it was before I met you. The one girl that was there, I would later nearly have sex with, and then I'm in the room with her, and my one buddy who would go on to be a groomsman, actually ran to the room screaming, "You can't fuck her, she has HPV!"
Good save. That's a good man.
He did. That's why he became a groomsman. That was a fucking save right there.
Yeah. Did you buy him lifeguard shorts?
Man, I should have. Dude, it was a good save. Because she's fairly good looking, but that's a side one, like little like.
Yeah, because you would have never known. Nope. There's no symptoms for men. Your wife would have been very upset.
Exactly. So I owe him.
That wedding would have gone very different.
So we were shithoused on Jim Beam. we go, hey, you know what we should go doing right now? We should go mudding out in the fucking, where they're building a new high school.
Oh my god.
For those of you who aren't aware of what mudding is, that's where you take your big old pickup truck and you just go
Drive through the mud.
Drive through the mud and do burnouts and fucking,
Out in the middle of fucking nowhere, usually.
Yep, yeah.
For our refined listeners, there is no G in mud.
Nope.
No, it's mud. Mud is an apostrophe.
Yep.
There is an apostrophe.
The best way to go there is right through downtown Plainfield. But Plainfield Fest is going on to this was a Thursday night. The
Dude,
carnival.
Plainfield Fest is kind of nuts, actually, how big it's got.
It has.
Saw Foghat and Molly Hatchet at the same time.
Our entire thought process was, all right, it's Thursday night. All the rides are set up, but nobody's occupying. We can just drive through the carnival and it'll be fine. I'm in car 1. I'm passenger car 1. My brother's driving car 2 with the girls. All of a sudden we're driving and we see the barricades, but we're hammered, so we're just driving. My buddy's got a beer in the glove box, you know, and we were driving. All of a sudden my brother makes a sharp right or left at the last minute, and why did he do that? And we're driving, and then we realized why as we drove through the first set of barriers, and that's because there's a lot of very confused Plainfield cops. Four to be exact, wondering why we're driving towards them. And my buddy goes, fuck. It needs to be noted, my buddy was 19 at the time.
Oh.
So he took the beer and throws it behind the seats. Very important to know for the later in the story. So we're fucking driving. He's like, fucking play it cool. Officers come, what do you guys think you're doing? And my buddy just goes, sorry, I didn't see everything. And he goes, license and registration, please. They ask for my license. Have you been drinking tonight? He goes, no. And the officer goes, don't lie to me. He goes, I had a few. Then he looks at my ID and goes, Mr. Andreasen, how's Ryan? My brother, who had a bit of a reputation with the Plainfield Police Department.
Oh, God.
Oh, he's good. He just got back from college in Wyoming. He goes, oh, good. I'm sure I'll see him soon then. Takes the light, and my buddy's like, all right, just play cool. So the cops come, there's a cop on each side now, watching me and him, and the cop goes, sir, please get out of the car. They let my buddy out of the car. About a minute goes by, all of a sudden the officer rapidly opens my door and goes, get out of the car and put your hands up. I'm like, oh shit. And in the distance I hear my buddy going, no, it's unloaded.
Oh, God.
Where he had thrown the beer was a very loaded shotgun. Bear in mind the story's whiskey white privilege. There's a happy ending.
Yeah, this sounds like where I grew up.
So
This is right at home.
I got fucking frisked. I'm searched up, and they go, "Don't move." Now it's an APB. Fuck, every Plainfield cop working the midnight shift is descending upon this moment. My buddy's off getting fucking discussed with the cops. The cops are just running him down. And there's a group of, it's the bicycle cops, it's the motorcycle cop, and 2 cop cars.
Yeah, it's Plainfield. They got nothing else to do at midnight.
And I'm sitting there by myself.
There's not even a donut shop.
But me because I'm drunk and I'm like fucking bulletproof at that point. I walk and I start looking at their bicycles. I walk in, I'm like, well, I'm trying to look at their bicycles, and I look at the other one, and the officer goes, "Sir, are you okay?" I go, "Can I ride your bicycle, please?" And the officer goes, "No." I go, "Can I ride that one then?" And "No, go back where you were standing." I'm like, all right. So I go, they're in a semicircle at this point. There's 9 cops. About 5 minutes goes by. I walk to the semicircle and include myself, and I go, "So how you guys doing tonight?" And they go, "Can we help you?" I go, "I've got to go to the bathroom. Can I go to the bathroom?" And they go, "No." I go, "Can I take one of the bicycles to the bathroom?" And they go, "No, go back where you were standing." And I go, "Fine, I'm going to go pee my pants over there." Go back over. I'm waiting. All of a sudden I hear, "Hey, B-Man. Little B-Man." I look on a rooftop. It's my brother and the 2 girls. They have looped Plainfield, found a stairwell, and got into the roof of one of the buildings. And they're looking down, watching all of this. And I'm drunk. I'm like, well, fuck him. He's not getting arrested. So I go to the cop and go, "Hey, you want to see my brother? He's right there." And I point at this. The cop looks up, and you can see my brother stuck under the... And the cop goes, Ryan, what? Come down here. No. All of a sudden, here goes my buddy's shotgun, and he goes, get in the car before they change their mind. Throws shotgun. He talked like we're Starsky and Hutch. Tosses me the shotgun. We get in the car, and we start. He goes, yeah, they let me off. They called me, and they found my dad's doing all the foundation work for the new high school. They can't arrest me. And we drove the fuck away. Underage, drinking, in a car, trying to drive through a carnival with a
loaded shotgun.
And we walked. We walked it.
What the fuck?
Whiskey white privilege.
I just gotta say, for 3 dudes I've never hung out with before, I feel way too much at home.
And I think we will call it there. Thank you to Brandon and Noah for joining us. Brandon,
cheers on that
yes.
one, man.
Wow.
Thank you. That was between him and our one of our other guests with a strip club story.
Brooks Sullivan.
Dude, Brooks' story is great too. Between those two, those are my favorite so far.
Appreciate it.
We're definitely gonna have to have you guys all back to definitely we'll battle it out with the best stories.
Oh shit! That was one story. That was fun.
that one was solid though.
Before I was ever stand-up comedy, I always said, everyone said I was a really good storyteller. Like, I could fucking make anything sound cool. Like, my brother goes, you can make the stupidest thing sound cool. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that's my job, literally.
Yeah. And then I became a stand-up comic, and it turns out I can't. Like, but
you could, but that's a lot of
me headlining Kankakee proves I probably can. Oh yeah, every week I'm on Pro Wrestling Nation. It's if you search for Pro Wrestling Nation on iTunes or YouTube or Spotify, or Pro Wrestling Nation or Geeks and Gamers. That's the main website I'm off of. I also do, I used to, and I'm probably going to be forced to by gunpoint again, do weekly YouTube videos for Sports Wars, where we'll be talking baseball and pro wrestling.
And you also write for Football Absurdity.
If you want really, really bad gambling advice, I write a weekly gambling article for footballabsurdity.com. I also did a very nice interview with Jeff Perlman recently, where he's the author of a million great sports books. He just did a book called Football for a Buck, about the rise and fall of the USFL. It's a fantastic read. I've read the book. It's phenomenal. Go ahead and check that out.
Noah, where can folks find Chicago Distillery?
Yeah, it's fucking everywhere, man. Everywhere. Chicago Distilling Company. You can find us on the web, Instagram, Twitter, and yeah, that's about it for us. And every Benny's on the face of the planet. I was actually at a Target the other day, and there was an entire Chicago end cap, and half of everything on it was Chicago Distilling, which is really awesome. We got some minutes there, yeah.
Nice.
They've been very kind to us.
I'm pretty sick. Benny's is opening. They come to the strategy where they're opening in old circuit cities in H.H. Greg's.
Nice.
So they're just Benny's is ruined the fucking alcoholic Toys R Us.
Yeah. And if anyone would like to drink some Chicago Distilling cocktails at one of my bars, feel free to email us at theboozatory@gmail.com. Also send in your questions. If there's anything you'd like to see, like to know, anything you want us to cover as a topic, send it to us. We'll definitely take a look at it and get back to you.
Any concerns you have about me and my...
We're all very concerned about you, Jake.
I'm 99% sure you have a lower sperm count than Forrest Gump had IQ because of those pants you wear.
I've been slowly giving him well-fitting clothes that I get from industry events. Eventually, all of his band shirts will be replaced by alcohol T-shirts.
It won't change the fact that his pants selection is going to have him Hank Hilling it out.
Dude, I've been begging Tailwinds to make pants just for that reason.
His sperm's coming out single file.
No, he's very invested in sweat shorts right now.
That's god.
Yeah, man, I got plenty.
I mean, I have a pair, but
plenty of booze industry T-shirts. When are they going to get into the pants game?
Exactly. That's the next.
The next one. It started with hats. It went to shirts.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see the juicy sweatpants. I want those, but for alcohol advertising.
I would absolutely wear those.
I can make that happen.
Just
don't dare me.
Old style across my ass in that font. In a heartbeat, I'd wear that.
Dude, I can get that printed tomorrow.
Ow!
And then here comes Brandon in his Schlitz onesie.
We'll get you a rompin that is.
Okay. I took so much fucking flack for like saying like last time I was gonna buy one of those. Everyone goes, "Fuck you."
I saw that post. That was you?
Yeah. I thought like, fuck it, I'm chubby. What am I gonna lose by wearing it? It's not like anything else.
You're married. You didn't get anybody to impress.
That's part of it. I wore a Chewbacca onesie for an extended period of time, and the Chewbacca onesie wasn't even big enough for me. It came down to my like halfway down my calf.
It's like a Chewbacca onesie capris.
Yeah, I looked like I was cosplaying, but I also was afraid there might be a flood.
Hey,
It was also weird that there was more hair on your legs than on that Chewbacca one.
Yeah, that was the best part. Is you weren't wearing socks, but everyone thought you were.
I got my back waxed for my wedding. Never again. Never fucking again.
You were afraid the hair was going to come through the suit.
I wanted to look good for my wedding, or at least less
At
worse.
least look decent.
Less
for the
worse.
honeymoon.
Well, here's the problem. I forgot to shave.
Oh.
So all my wedding pictures.
They got barbers in Hawaii, man.
It was Cancun.
Oh, Cancun, sorry.
But I forgot to bring hairspray.
Same thing.
I forgot hairspray and I forgot to shave. So every picture of me looks like just a desperate guy going to Vietnam to buy a wife.
And I think we will call it there. Thank you to Noah and Brandon for joining us. We will see you next time for part 2.
Cheers.
Cheers.